Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got some good scoring tiles in the J and the X. I can play off both of them and the U by playing je. And that's 36 points. Not good. I duplicate 2 of the tiles and I've got no scoring tiles, so I'm going to struggle to score, and I don't have a bingo with this rack. Uoi would sort out the vowel preponderance at the expense of retaining 2 L's. Well, that's 3 of the higher scoring tiles out of the way, just the Q to come. My O can go next to the Z. I'm just wondering if this is a changing rack. It really is pretty grim. And I can't score very much. I can't see anything ending OL or even ending O. I can't see anything parallel to je, even though I've got an O for going underneath the J. I think I will change. I think the best that would be on offer would be a low score and a weak rack leave. So I'll keep the E because it's good, and the L for vowel consonant balance. Well, there is the final high scoring tile, the Q. Fortunately, I've got A and T to go with it to make cat and cats. So at the moment, cat plays in column 11, making za and et, and also underneath je. The K, quite a useful scoring tile, but not really in conjunction with the Q. Although a U would allow quake to be played. I think this is a new opponent for me. I don't think I've played demilade before, and I can see from his rating that we're fairly evenly matched. I don't think juicing takes an S, and in any event, this is a better spot for cat. 37 points. Well, still not close to a bingo. Through an O and an E, I would have knee holes. Just looking at the floaters in juicing, the C goes well with the H and the K, but I'm not seeing a bingo there. Now, both my H and K can go above the U of je. So I could play Hulk, leaving quite a good rack leave. And also my H and K can go next to the I of juicing, but that's less useful because I can't get that to score both ways. Wow, opponent takes out both of those spots, fortunately for not a massive score. Just 4 points between us. Column 8 quite hot, parallel to juicing down to this triple word square, but I don't have a tile that can go next to the G. Piping takes an S, I believe, so I could play shekel. 40 points. That's quite tempting. I can't do anything around cat because I don't have an I. I'm pretty sure juicing doesn't take an S. So I don't really have an awful lot of options here. Is there anything through the I? Don't think so. Now, has this spot really been blocked? Do I have an H or K, U something I word? Even going beyond the I? Not that I can see. So shekel for 40. Not great. Just the one vowel. So although I have the ing ending, that's not particularly useful. I do, however, have some vowels on the board to play through, including this UI combination. I'm just looking at that to see what I have. I have murid and mudir and muring. Great, only 21 points for my opponent, so he trails me. The second E of shekel is available for a play with EI in the middle. Can't see anything great there. So what murid does is keep ing together, keeps the B for score. It would be nice to play off, well, to not retain the B and the G. That doesn't feel very bingo-y. Now I'm wondering about playing through the I of juicing, so I could play birding. 22 points, keeping just the M, which is about the same score as murid. I don't think Bing is worth very much as a rack leave. And I don't think this is providing anything massive for my opponent. So birding 24. Great, I draw the first blank, and I have immunity through the eye of birding. I've got an I for going after the Q, and in fact I had that last go. And a G. So I'm just thinking MIG probably would have been a better play than birding. Wow, 35 points. Yep, that was a miss. And my immunity spot has been taken. Nice bingo by my opponent. So the floaters in birding, not useful. Not many words end B or I. I've got the E of je to play down onto. I have untimely through the right floaters. None available. I've got the N of Dalton. Now I no longer have a tile for going after Tsar. So I think the best I can do in column 12 is Muni. That's not great. And it's not creating bingo lanes. It would be nice to play off M, U and Y. They're my non-bingo-y tiles. So a play of Yum would do that. Just can't see anywhere for that play. I haven't given up on finding a bingo with this rack, but it's not looking great. So Muni would leave TY blank. Now column 9 is available for a play ending ING. So I could play muting in that spot. Well, that's keeping Y and U. That's not a good thing to do. I could play Yeti for 20 points. This isn't a bad rack leave. The U does go well to some extent with the M and the N, and as the only vowel, it also has value. So I'm going with Yeti, and the blank is good for an S to pluralize that. Okay, that looks pretty promising. Out name auto men and something else as a 7. Notium. Do I have anything with the blank as an S? Mudstone through a D. Well, there's another S lane available. 12 minutes on my clock, 37 tiles to come. Anything ending N? Yeti only takes an S, as does EH, so limited 7-letter lanes. Yeti has also killed column 8. Not such a good thing to do. Just looking at the B and the I in case I've got anything ending with one of those. Can't see anything. What I can do is menu. Keeping quite a decent rack leave and scoring quite well. I'm only 50 points behind, so 28 points keeps me roughly in touch. So, great. I have outlets and let-outs, playable in columns 13 and 14. Both of those could be blocked. I can't see anything ending B or I. Now, what about a play ending with N? N isn't a particularly good ending tile unless you've got something like Asian. Great, I don't need to worry about that. So, I've got choices, and I think let-outs here is best because the play will get doubled and won't open up column 15, albeit it does open up row A. But I think let-outs is just a better play all round. So let-outs for 69. And let-outs better than outlets because it restricts the number of high-scoring tiles that can go on this double letter square. Pretty horrendous pickup. But I have a 20-point lead. However, that could well disappear, or is likely to disappear, with row A being available. I've got Vow in row D. Only 18 points. Wow, great bingo by my opponent. Outweeds takes a G in front, but that's not particularly useful. No G's left. My opponent has restored his 50-point lead. 16 tiles to come. Just one S, and those remaining tiles do not look particularly bingo-y. However, outweeds and let-outs have opened up the top of the board. So I could play Vor across here for 42 points. That will draw me to within 10 points of my opponent. Let me look at the remaining vowel situation. 13 out of 23 tiles, so pretty good. Therefore, not a disaster retaining 4 consonants. It would be nice to reduce that to 3, but it's also nice to get rid of the V and the W. So I think Vor better than Blor. And I don't think I've got anything better down column 8. So I'm going with this. I draw 3 consonants. Hopefully my opponent's got 7 vowels. The O of let-outs looks quite useful for me in terms of sorting this out. Great. Well, not so great that my opponent scores 50 points, but he hasn't blocked the O of let-outs. Do I have a play which gets one of my higher scoring tiles doubled? Don't think so. Now I have the last S, so I could play Fob. I really don't like keeping 5 consonants, but that S looks pretty useful. So it's useful for pluralizing woe, But at the moment, that's the only spot for a bingo ending in S, and my opponent could easily take that out. Fob for just 16. Dismal. 8 minutes on my clock. What about a play in row N? Well, I think the best I can see there is Berm. 28 points, that's a better score. Rack leave again, absolutely atrocious. But I'm not seeing anything on offer. Let me check the remaining vowels. 11 out of 17. Berm takes an E at the end, 3 E's to come, so column 15 is available for bingos ending EN, but I can't see this rack maturing into a bingo immediately. I could play Mole here, but then I'm not really using or setting up a new spot for my S, and L's not a particularly useful starting tile for a bingo. 7 minutes on my clock. However, BFNS with some vowels could generate a bingo. I could have Fanboys. Only 14 points, that is dismal. Six minutes on my clock. Is this board really not offering anything better? I'm thinking of going with Fob. Horrible rack lead, but it's only playing off 2 tiles, and it gives me an opportunity to sort out the rack next turn to have a final Hail Mary bingo to win the game. Fob for 16. I draw only 1 vowel, which is a shame, and I draw the V, which is irksome. So I could play Vils and Rays, but then that's burning the S. Well, I can play Villi, keeping MNS, which gives me hope. Again, looking at the vowels. Okay, 4 tiles left, so Villi would empty the bag. Can I do something better? I certainly want to play off the V and the L. So I can do that with Vli, leaving 2 in the bag. And I should draw an E, or there's a good chance I'll draw an E. And that's quite a good 5-letter set. Vli for 18, can I do better? I think it's just the L, M and N combination which I don't like the look of. It doesn't feel very bingo-y. I'm not immediately seeing bingos beginning with S with this setup. 5 minutes on my clock. And Vli is obstructing the floaters in Vary. So I do need to play off V and L. Well, what about doing this? Villi here. MNS is a much nicer rack lead. The L really damages MNS. I'm creating floaters, and in particular the floating I. Yeah, I'm going with this. It is emptying the bag, but I think if I have a bingo, or an unblockable bingo, I win the game. So I have Semion and Fobs. Do I have a second bingo? This L looks promising. Four minutes on my clock, 14 on my opponent's. This rack plus an L, quite high probability if it exists. And I can see by my opponent's remaining tiles, he's close to a bingo as well, so he may have something. And he does, and he ends the game with a great bingo, co-varied. And the final score, 328 to me, 469 to my opponent. A winning margin of 141 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. So it was me to go fast, and Jewel, that's interesting. XI, quite a nice rack leave. But Je, only 4 points fewer, is also fine. Not a great rack for my opponent. He has Zex. And this is where I changed, and there was nothing over 20, and these rack leaves are horrendous. However, I think Ulzi better than changing. Not a nice rack for my opponent. He has juicing. And now I have cat for 37. Again, not great for my opponent. That piping is a nice play. I played Shekel for 40. I could have played Henlike, retaining the S through the I. That would have been a better play. Opponent's rack. He plays Dalton. And now this is where I missed Make for 36 and Brig, and all these plays playing parallel to Cat. And I played Birding for 24, which wasn't as good. Opponent has a choice of bingos, goes with Rootages, which was a nice spot. Now, did I miss something here? No, I didn't. L13, Mai and Kai. Very nice, 36 points and a decent rack leave. Yeah, Yeti for 20. Definitely inferior, so Mai would have been a much better play. Opponent's rack, he plays Heart. Unmolten. Down onto the end, very nice. Well done if you spotted that. And I played Menu for 28, retaining the blank. But Unmolten certainly better. Opponent plays Agar. And now finally I do get a bingo down with let-outs. And my opponent has outweeds. But also some good non-bingo plays, retaining the blank. Bowman, very nice. A 8 down through the O. Instead I do Raw for 6 fewer points. And I think a worse rack leave, 4 consonants, not great. Opponent has Foodery, nowhere for it. Plays Flow, and at this point I'm about 60 points behind, and I've got 7 consonants. Firm, N11. Look at this rack leave, awful. So I still like Fob, but it's the best of a really, really bad bunch. I mean, all of these rack leaves are really horrendous when you're trying to catch up. Opponent has 5 vowels. Plays Vary. And now there are 4 tiles in the bag. I play Villi. For reasons stated, I considered Vli. Yeah. Well, as it happens, Vli would also have given my opponent co-varied. But I still like Villi. And there it is, co-varied for 82. So no chance or no opportunity of playing Semion. However, if I'd played Vli and opponent had played co-varied, I would have had another go, but it wouldn't have been enough to have caught my opponent up, it would have just reduced the losing spread. So, quite an interesting game. I think the significant error was the MIG miss, or the column 12 miss, and a few other suboptimal ones with my and Kai and Unmolten. But the game of Scrabble does have misses all the time, and that's just the way it goes. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.